So if it's the user and the interaction of a computer system, of the software programs, that the um, experience of it being used is actually the right brain, the imagination. That's what creates a new program, because you'll get hackers that will show you where your rules aren't true, just like our in our everyday experience, that you may have your own beliefs, your own rules, that when this happens, this is what you do. But somebody will like come in and hack your belief systems and say, is that really true? um, Let me test out your theory. You know, you build these houses with fences, and there's always somebody that's going to try and break in to just prove that your rules don't really apply all the time. You can try, but somebody's always going to try and break your rules. And it's the breaking of our rules that form new belief systems. And as soon as you have another belief system, then somebody's got to design another software program. And that's the constant use of all of these software programs are actually improving our DOS, the operating systems. They improve through the use of the software programs that we interact with. I don't know if that's making any sense to anybody. And that's basically, um, you have your DNA, your operating system. But then as you live life and experience life, for you to experience anything, they're nothing but chemical experiences. They're not thoughts and texts. You know, we don't think in words and text. We think in chemical experience that we put words to, all of our associations to those chemical experiences. And all of those chemical experiences are nothing but proteins and peptides that latch on to your DNA instantly. It happens instantly, but it's on a very quantum level, and nobody's really experimented or done, testing to see how these peptides are, created in the brain. Like we have pieces of the puzzle, but nobody's put it together yet. But when you latch on these proteins and peptides onto your DNA, and then you give birth to another child, all of that peptides and proteins that are attached to your DNA are merged into and combined with somebody else's operating system, and you create a new life form that carries all of the memories, all of the chemical experiences from their parents. And that's why the DNA is slightly, well, it is different, but you can tell where they come from. And you can also see that the operating system from brother to sister, or two brothers together, will be very similar enough that we can tell DNA is related. But what makes them different? And it's the time frame that it takes between having one kid and another kid. Twins have more of the same DNA, but there's still that 1 second difference that makes their DNA different. And what makes that 1 second different is there's another thought that came up. There's another chemical experience that came up that created different peptides and proteins to be attached to the DNA while that new cell is being created. So it's, the quantum world is the study of the very smallest aspect of life. And we haven't really gone that deep to see it to write our books, but we have more than enough rules that say, okay, well, if this is true, then that's true. you know it just sort of makes sense to me. And so, and now they're even proving there's Bruce Lipton is a guy that was a scientist studying stem cell research, and a lot of what he was involved in studying was DNA, and he's starting to see that you can't change DNA, but you can control DNA. Kind of agree and disagree with his concept, but it's basically like your DNA is all of the thought patterns, all of the belief systems you have, all of the rules, all of the DOS program that operates your system, all of the software programs that you use to interact and experience life with. It's sort of like on cruise control. And if you're not aware of it, then, like these thoughts you have are controlled by these systems that you're experiencing life with. But if you are aware that this shit's going on, then you can choose to redesign your operating system. It can be transformed. You just got to know you can do it. And that's, it is a lot to do with free will, that as soon as a thought comes into your mind, you can take this direction or that direction. Actually, it's an infinite number of directions that you can possibly take. I think they call it 0 point superposition. At any time when you recognize where you are, if you're kind of aware of where you are, the superposition is you got an endless direction that you can take. It's up to you. But what direction you take, lots of times, is going to be based on the rules that you use. But if you want to just magically create shit, if you just want to believe in the wildest belief system that you possibly can have and say, okay, what else is out there? You have free will. You have the ability to take whatever direction in life you want to take. Most of the time, we're stuck in history. And, we kind of want to create our future based on our past, and we're kind of lost. And it's like, what kind of future do you want? Picture it out there. Then reverse mechanics and see, okay, what would it take for me to get there? What do I need to see? What do I need to learn? What do I need to experience? What chemicals do I need to experience to have that? And then you can actually force yourself to have those experiences. You are the druggist that's creating the drugstore in your mind for you to experience. And while you cannot make a chemical that you don't know what it takes to make that chemical, you have past experiences that you can possibly rely on and start with that. And then it's just practice. It's like if you want to feel happy and you haven't felt happy most of your life, there's got to be 1 second where you were happy. Even if it was on the smallest level, there had to have been some sign. Or you can even look at somebody else and sort of imagine, okay, what are they feeling? What do they look like? How are they holding their bodies? What is happiness kind of look like? And then put yourself into that and try and imagine, what would it feel like? And then when you try to imagine what it's like, your brain will make those chemicals. And then the deal is you want to be addicted to those so that it does it on automatically. So what do you do to create an addiction? You force yourself to do it over and over and over again. You build some kind of belief system that says, I gotta do it. I gotta have that feeling all the time. And then once you get yourself addicted to it, it'll create it without you even knowing it. You don't even have to work at it. It'll be running on its own. But it's a matter of getting your DNA and your life experiences to stop running on cruise control and start taking charge of the direction you want to go into. And when you want to be the driver of your life experience, be in control of the chemicals that you're making in your brain. And it is free will. You can make your brain make whatever chemical you want, but it's only going to be based on what you know already. And it's like, can I know something completely different? Yeah, Use your imagination. You know, your right brain. It's got endless possibilities. Peace out.